I'm here to teach you about tax delinquent land for sale. If you're interested in buying properties at tax sale, you are going to love this video because I'm going to tell you how to get those lists, what things you need to worry about, which things you don't need to worry about, and how this can be a really lucrative thing to do. So tax sales come in two flavors, and this can be a little confusing. They come in the form of tax liens, which are really financial instruments, don't get you ownership of real estate generally, or they come in tax deed sales. And the problem is people just say tax sales and you don't know which they're referring to. So you're looking for properties where they're selling the deed to the property, meaning they're giving you ownership if you're the high bidder. So if at the end of that sale, you raise your hand and you win, you get ownership of the property. Now, you came here perhaps looking for tax delinquent land for sale, but just so you know, both land and improved real estate, meaning something with a house on it like this one, are both sold at the same sales. And you have no way of knowing when you look at the list whether it's land or whether it's a house, other than the land is going to have much lower taxes. That's for sure, because when they charge real estate taxes, they charge a percentage of the value of the house. On average, it's about 1.7% of the value of the land combined with any improvements per year. So the low taxes, a couple $100s a year, is almost always just land. Let me share with you how to get the lists. So the lists are going to be on the internet when the sale is coming up, usually about 45 days in advance of the sale. You're going to see the list put up on a website that the county owns. And if you do a Google search, just do a Google search with the county name and tax sale list. Like for example, you could say Montgomery County, Pennsylvania tax sale list, or DeKalb County, Georgia tax sale list, or Orange County, Florida tax sale list. Any of those things. So it's the county name and then just tax sale list. You'll usually find it that way. If you don't, then just reach out to your local real estate tax collector, generally tax collector's office, and just either send them an email and say, hey, I'm trying to get your list of tax delinquent properties for sale. You don't have to specify land because all of them are going to be together, land and improved properties with houses on them. Just ask them that and say, how do I get the list? And they'll tell you. And they may say, oh, our sales are in September of each year, which is what Montgomery County, Pennsylvania would tell you. So they'd say, so we put out the list about 45 days in advance, so you're going to see it around the 1st of August, and you can check back then. They'll tell you that. These are not government secrets. So again, do the Google search, DeKalb County, Georgia tax sale list. And if that doesn't work, reach out to the tax collector's office, ask who holds the tax delinquent sales and where do they advertise them, and that will get your list. And make sure when you're doing that, also check out the conditions of sale. The conditions of sale they tell you things like when is payment due, what form of payment do they accept. It's not credit cards, it's usually either wire transfer or cash. So they're going to mention that. Also, typically you need to register in advance for the sale. So make sure that you are registering in advance for the sale. And typically that closes out about a week before the sale. So you don't want to get all prepared for the sale and then you get there and they say, oh, we're so sorry, you needed to register a week ago. And that's not fixable. So make sure you just check those things out and make sure you educate yourself before you go investing, because these things can be tricky. I've recorded some videos on the way tax sale work in Pennsylvania and other places. Just make sure that you avail yourself of those resources and more so that before you invest your hard-earned money, you know what you're doing. Now, when you're buying land at real estate tax auctions, you need to be careful because that land may not be buildable. Sometimes land that's being sold at those sales is a little strip of land that's between two parcels where the surveyor made a mistake when they subdivided a bigger parcel into smaller parcels and they left a gap. And that gap is still going to be on the tax bill for the original plot of land that was subdivided, and no one's going to pay the taxes on that, and that will go to tax sale. So when you're looking at land in particular, you need to look very carefully to make sure that the land that you're talking about is adequate to build. It has to be wide enough, it has to be deep enough, it needs to have access to a street, it needs access to utility services. So different than buying improved property at a tax sale, like a house like this one. If you buy improved property, something's built there. Even if it isn't technically wide enough or deep enough or anything like that, it's grandfathered in because it's already an existing structure. So when you buy land, there's some extra things to check out. You need to check out the zoning. You need to make sure that there's access to utility services, make sure it's wide enough to build on. Matter of fact, the first property that I bought at a tax sale, which is way back in 1989, long time ago, was a property at 610 East Philolina Street in Philadelphia. And I was brand new to real estate. I didn't know much of anything. I'd learned about investing, but it was my first deal I ever did. I bought a property at tax sale for $3,000. And I was all excited because this was in a really nice neighborhood of beautiful houses. And matter of fact, all the editor put some pictures up. You can see the kind of houses in that neighborhood, these big, beautiful stone houses. And what it didn't realize is that this lot was 48.5 feet wide. Why that's important is in order to build, get this, you had to be 50 feet wide. So I had an unbuildable piece of land. And the only way to build on that was to get a variance and get permission to build despite it being too narrow. And as my first real estate investment, that was a big, big challenge. And it wasn't one that I really wanted to take on. So I just dumped the property and sold it. Still made some money on it. Still made a little over $10,000 on it, which was great for my first tax sale investment. Bought it for $3, sold it, made 10. That was really good. But I didn't realize when you're dealing with land, you really have some super special things you have to look at. So if you're looking at land, just make sure you check carefully into the zoning. Make sure that that land is compliant. Also make sure that it's not a Superfund site. There are websites you can check to see if it's either near a Superfund site or is a Superfund site itself. Because sometimes land is there unpurchased and nobody's doing anything with it because it is polluted. And if you buy it, you are stuck with the cleanup cost. And it doesn't matter that it was someone else's fault, you're still stuck with the cleanup cost. So make sure you check very carefully if you're going to be buying land. And I do love buying land at tax sales. It can be bought very, very cheaply. I have a friend of mine that buys land all the time at tax sales, and then he sells it out on terms. And so he'll often get all of his money back with the first 2 or 3 payments that someone makes. And then the rest of the time, like another 60 to 120 payments, is all just profit for him. Very simple, there are no renovations. So it can be a really great business to get into, but just make sure that you check carefully. Now, while you're in looking at tax sales, make sure you look at the improved properties also. Look at the ones that have houses on them. Look at the ones that are improved, because there can be some amazing deals at tax sale. People can buy things occasionally for pennies on the dollar. And even when they go for high prices, it's high prices relative to tax sale pricing. So it's still probably 20 to 30% off of retail price, which is great, because if you had, say, average house in America is about $400,000, if you're getting 20% off of that, that's $80,000 off. And that's fantastic. Now, when you're doing tax sales, you definitely need to educate yourself first. You need to know, do I get clear and marketable title? Often you don't. So that involves either getting something like tax title services to give you a title insurance policy despite, you buying at a tax sale. Or if you can't get a title policy on it, filing something called a quiet title action. And a quiet title action is a judge's determination in order that you have clear and marketable title to that property. And that usually takes about 6 months and somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 to do. So it's a consideration. Most of those considerations are overcome by the cheap price, but again, you have to be careful with tax sales. I do love tax sales. I'm in a related business. I buy properties at tax sales and have bought them for many years, but I'm really in a related business, which is the other flip side of that coin, called overages. That's where when properties are sold at tax sale, when they sell for more than the taxes, then that extra money is available for the former homeowner to claim. Former homeowners don't know about that money. They have no idea. So we, for a percentage, will let them know there's money available. We'll go do the work of getting the money, and then we get a finder's fee for doing that when we're successful. So that's the business that I'm doing. I think it's great. But for you looking at tax sales, here's my suggestion. I did an interview with a friend of mine named Tony that is a master, ninja master of buying at tax sales. He's been buying at tax sales for over 30 years. He really knows the business. He's doing the business all the time. And I sat down with him recently and we just talked about tax sales. He talked about what he's doing. He has a really innovative way of buying properties at tax sale that just blew me away. And I've been buying a tax sale since 1989 and I'd never heard of what he's talking about. And I thought it was absolutely amazing. So I think that you should definitely go check out that video. It's free. It's here on YouTube. I'll put a link down below and you may see a link over my shoulder if your browser supports it. Definitely check out that video, because in that video, you're going to learn a way to buy properties at tax sale where there's no competition, where you can take your time, you look over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of properties, decide the ones that you want and buy them for next to nothing, literally pennies on the dollar, mostly because there's no competition. They're available all across the country, and I just think it's a really super ninja strategy. So go check out that video. And I promise you'll love what Tony has to say because it's a really innovative way of doing this. So this is attorney and investor Bob Diamond. I'm glad you're here. I hope this was helpful. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up so that more people can see it. And if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm always talking about tax sales, both tax deed sales, tax overages, which is what I do in my day-to-day business these days, and also tax liens. And also check out Tony's video. Just click on the link below. Go check that out. It's free on YouTube. It's absolutely amazing. Such an innovator, and that could be exactly what you're looking for. It's Bob Diamond, over and out for now.